Welcome to today's presentation of Investing in Human Resources. We are going to talk about why ABC Corporation needs to purchase an HRIS. As part of our business development plan, ABC is looking to double its workforce and hire 200 new employees in the next 3 years. We currently have one HR employee and a clerk from another department who helps with payroll. These employees are great, but they would be hard-pressed to manage payroll, compensation, benefits, and employee information for 400 people by themselves. Not to mention, they are also the ones who need to be hiring a bunch of new employees. 200 employees over the next 3 years breaks down to about 6 employees per month, or more than 1 person per week. Considering the amount of time and work it takes to hire each employee, our staff is going to need some help. We estimate it would take about 4 additional full-time employees and an extra assistant to manage these functions, plus meet hiring goals, using the current systems we have in place. Keep in mind, our HR department uses Excel and Word, so tracking and calculating is a manual process with a lot of data entry. If we decided to help them out with some newer technology, it would be a game changer for the HR department. Automating the processes I mentioned would save a lot of time. It would also reduce the number of times information needs to be input. Right now we have files for employee information, files for payroll, files for attendance tracking, and so on. Using an HRIS would allow single entry data to be utilized across all of those functions at once, which is a much more efficient option. HRIS allows multiple users to enter information, not to mention employee self-service options, which allow employees to monitor and manage their own data as well. HRIS also fills another need that up until now we may not have even realized existed, and that is using HR as a business partner. HR handles tons of data. They have access to information that we need to make business decisions. The trouble is trying to compile it into usable information so we can see trends or make decisions about hiring needs is a project. HRIS makes it a lot easier to compile metrics into reports that give insight about what's really going on within the workforce. Let's talk about the applications that HRIS can handle. The first thing is payroll. Most companies today, once they get big enough, find they need to automate payroll. An HRIS can integrate payroll with time cards, calculate overtime, add in PTO or holiday time, and take out the appropriate amounts for taxes, all with minimal involvement from HR personnel. The system does the work, and HR checks it over to make sure nothing is missing or needs to be corrected. This is a huge time saver. Benefits and compensation are also managed by a HRIS. Insurance enrollment and FMLA eligibility, available PTO days and 401k selections, all of these things can be managed with a HRIS, and in a lot of cases can be managed by the employees themselves with outward-facing self-service options. Employee information is at the very center of HRIS. This is where it all starts. From the first time we bring in a new employee, his or her information needs to be entered into a lot of different tracking systems. The great thing about HRIS is the information goes in, and the information is disseminated to every area of the company at once. Training gets a list of who will be coming in and what they need to be trained on. Operations gets the employee added to a team with a supervisor, and task lists are created. The information goes to payroll, where all of the compliance and tracking and reporting gets initiated. The other great thing is if there's a change, whether it's a name change or address or department change, once it's entered in the system, the change is made in all areas at once. You don't have to go around to each place and make sure the changes are noted. The other huge benefit that we're talking about, where ABC will really see a benefit from an HRIS, is with an applicant tracking system. This application automates everything in recruiting, from receiving online applications, to scanning resumes, to sending out paperwork, scheduling phone calls, and getting people in the door for an interview. Once HR identifies potential candidates, the ATS helps with prioritizing and staying on top of the hiring process to move it along faster, saving time, saving money, and capturing those top candidates before they go off and find a job with someone else. All of these pieces together would be a big help to our HR department. The vendor we have selected for HRIS is a company called Vibe HCM. They recently merged with ECI, which has been in business for over 20 years. They offer the key applications we're talking about here. They actually offer a broader range of applications, but they customize the HRIS to what the client wants. Vibe's business model is to do two things. They provide the applications that make an HR department run faster and more efficiently. The other thing they do that really sets them apart from other HRIS systems is the way that they approach HR technology. Their goal is to build a HRIS that is centered around employee engagement. They align all of the HR functionality around a system of engagement that draws employees in as users. We know employees are very comfortable using interface applications outside of work, and Vibe believes it should be the same at work. For example, in the new hire process, Vibe will send out a welcome letter from the executive once a position has been accepted. The new hire is invited to complete some of the registration paperwork ahead of time, with a checklist of tasks to be done. One of the tasks might be to enter the employee portal and get logged in, which could trigger an email from his supervisor saying hello, etc. By the time this employee actually walks through the door on the first day, he will have had a chance to engage with administration, maybe participate in a survey. He's already a part of things, which makes him much more engaged in his position than someone else who starts all of this on day one. The benefit of doing all of this is the HRIS becomes more than just a system to keep track of HR data. It helps with organizational strategies to boost retention and create a dynamic company culture that is really an added value on top of what it does for the HR department. Because ABC is looking to expand its workforce in such a big way, this is a prime opportunity to integrate some processes and let the HR department help meet business objectives. Vibe is a software as a service provider, meaning it is a cloud-based service program with monthly service fees. We estimate the cost to install and deploy the HRIS would be approximately $10,000 initially, with an estimated annual cost of $2,700 in service fees. This would depend on what level of service ABC decides to utilize. Vibe offers standard, premium, and enterprise levels, each offering successively more support at a higher cost. These estimates are based on the assumption ABC would go with a mix of premium to enterprise level support, so costs could be less depending on services selected. Let's talk about the cost benefits of purchasing an HRIS. As stated earlier, having a HRIS would allow us to hire one less HR employee. Without HRIS, ABC could expect to lay out $180,000 per year for HR salaries for 6 people altogether. With HRIS, at least one position could be eliminated, and the estimated salary would drop to approximately $130,000 per year, with a savings of $50,000. Another area of cost benefit would be in reduced cost of finding and onboarding new hires. Last year, SHRM estimated the cost to hire one new employee was approximately $4,129, and it took an average of 42 days. While we can only guess how much time and expense will be saved by the faster and more efficient process of recruitment and hiring with an HRIS, it might be safe to assume a 10% reduction in costs. If we are hiring 70 employees a year, that is a savings of $412 a person, or an additional $28,910 per year. If we calculate the return on investment, the savings of $78,910 annually, minus the cost setup of $12,700, divided by the cost of $12,700, gives a return on investment of 520% in the first year. That is a strong return on investment. The following years could be better still, since the only fees involved would be the estimated $2,700 service fee. To summarize, purchasing an HRIS through Vibe HCM would be a strong return on investment. It would improve HR functionality. It would bolster employee engagement, supporting the hiring initiative by improving retention and building a dynamic work culture. And it would be a good investment in the workforce. The people who work for ABC are the heart of its business, and this HRIS would support not just the HR department, but the human capital it serves. Thank you so much for your time today. Thanks for listening.